After the program, Dad had made a feeble attempt at an apology, but I knew I'd never forget the things he said to me that afternoon. And then by Christmas Day, he was gone. He left.
He left.
And suddenly, we were alone.
Our church family encircled us with loving arms and tried to help, but both Joey and I were devastated. I cried and cried, but Joey just withdrew into his own world of his own making.
My heart broke for Joey and his mom when Robert had left. Our church reached out in every way we could, but a darkness had descended on Joey that would not be lifted.
Two people doesn't feel like a family. Mom had to pick up another job just to pay the bills, and I was on my own most of the time. Sure, the church family's made an effort, but I didn't want their pity. I didn't want a fridge full of casseroles. I just wanted my dad.
Christmas was never the same after that. At first, the Christmas season brought back a flood of painful memories, but as the years passed, a gleam of my Christmas candle reminded me that Jesus, the light of the world, still loved us and would take care of us.
Why did Dad leave? Maybe Mom knew, but she wouldn't say. And in the end, I realized it didn't matter why he left, only that he did. The hurtful things he said to me the day of the program kept replaying over and over again in my mind.
I prayed daily for a way to help Joey. He was bewildered and confused at first, but it's swiftly changing to a rage right in front of me.
Dad said I was stupid. My grades took a nosedive soon after he left, and before long, I was failing half my classes. He said a lot of other things too, and with one failure after another, I began to prove him right.
Joey started coming home with black eyes and bloody knuckles. I marched him straight to counseling to Pastor Morgan, but that only seemed to make him angrier.
I started meeting with Joey every week, but he stonewalled my attempts to help him with a mixture of silence and an I don't care attitude.
By next Christmas, Joey was almost unrecognizable as the sweet little boy I remembered. He was so angry. No matter how many people were around him, he always seemed alone.
When it came time for the church Christmas program, I couldn't even walk in the door of the church. I knew it hurt my mom's feelings, but I skipped her program that night and every Christmas after that. In fact, I boycotted the whole Christmas season. Every decorated tree and Christmas carol reminded me of my dad, and my mom's Christmas candle glowing in the front window seemed to shine a spotlight in the gaping hole in my heart.
The years passed, Christmas after Christmas. My heart broke every December when the rest of the world turned merry and Joey retreated a little further inside himself. By God's grace, we managed to get him through high school, and while his GPA wouldn't get him in any decent college, at least he had a diploma.
Mom was so relieved when I managed to graduate and so proud of that wretched diploma, as if it would somehow save me. Never mind that, my grand destiny was likely to be flipping burgers for the rest of my life.
I was genuinely surprised every time Joey showed up at my office, but our counseling sessions were the only thing he never tested his mother on. However, once he turned 18, he disappeared from our church as swiftly as if he had been swallowed up by the shadows that seemed to haunt his soul.
I didn't seek out friends, and honestly, that's probably just as well. I doubtless would have been drawn to the wrong people, but being alone in your own head could be just as destructive. My past was a black hole, my present no better, and my future was as good as lost too. I was without hope, plunging headlong into darkness, and I knew it.
I worked 60 hours a week just to keep the lights on at home. But in December, I took a little time off to put together the Christmas program, which was always the highlight of my year. I cataloged my life by the songs we sang. Each one felt like a chapter in a diary, something new God was teaching me, or another way he was comforting me and giving me hope.
I was stunned when I got the call. It was the day of the Christmas program, and there was Joey Miller on the phone. I hadn't seen him in years. He was in jail for beating a man half to death in a barroom brawl. He'd been in lockup for 2 days. The man he'd assaulted was going to be all right, but this wasn't the first time Joey had been in jail, and the bail was high, almost to the penny what I had in my savings.
There was only 2 people in the world I could call, and I just couldn't bring myself to call my mom, so I called Pastor Morgan.
I knew with a groan that the bail amount matching my savings was no coincidence. It was as if the Holy Spirit were whispering in my ear, "You prayed for years for a way to make a difference in this boy's life. Here's your chance."
When Pastor came and got me, he didn't lecture me or preach at me. He told me my only condition for posting my way off was that I attend the church Christmas program. That evening, when I stepped into the darkness, into the glittering light of the church lobby, my chest felt tight and my stomach was somewhere down in my shoes. Thousands of Christmas lights set the church ablaze, and right at the front of the platform was my mom's Christmas candle. It was exactly the way I remembered it, the last time I'd been at church, on this night. It had been the end of everything.
Joey halted at the entrance to the auditorium. There stood for a moment as if he were frozen. My own feelings were in turmoil. Should I speak? Should I be silent? For a second, I thought he might turn and run, but then he took a step into the auditorium and slipped into a back seat.
I thought I was hallucinating when I saw Joey in the back row, sitting at the edge of the shadows with the Christmas lights illuminating his face. His usual harsh expression was softer, uncertain. I prayed that God would touch his heart. I prayed that God would yank my boy back to him.
I didn't know what else to do, so I prayed.
I just prayed.